Hello everyone, it's Dale here. In this video I'll show you my most favorite #1 volume profile setup. You know, I've been trading for around 16 years now, and most of that time with volume profile. Now over the years my volume profile strategy has been changing a little bit by a little bit, but what I'm going to show you now is what crystallized over the years up until today and what is currently my most favorite and most trusted volume profile strategy. Let's get to it. So what you need to see on the chart, and by the way this works with all time frames and also all trading instruments. I prefer a 30-minute time frame and forex, but you can do this on anything you want. So the bullish scenario goes like this. You need to see a strong trend, and within the trend you need to see a significant heavy volume zone. Let's say that the heavy volume zone is in here, right in the middle of the trend. Now you also need to see that the price was reacting to this level before. It could be something like this. So this is what you need to see. And what this is telling you is that basically this level was a resistance in the past because the price made that reaction here, right? To that level in the past. Then the price went past the level, past that resistance, creating that heavy volume zone or heavy volume cluster. And then you just need to wait for pullback to that level again. And this level turned from resistance into new support at the time when the price blew past it, right? So this is a new support, and that's a support you want to trade. So you wait for pullback, and then when the price hits the support, you go long. Alright, this is how it is supposed to look like. So there are two conditions. First condition is that heavy volume zone formed within a trend. The second condition is that there was a strong reaction to that level where the heavy volumes were in the past. So this was a resistance, and that turned into a support, and you trade that support. Alright, so that's the bullish scenario. Now the bearish scenario is the same, it is only reversed. So you need to see a strong downtrend with heavy volumes formed within the downtrend. Let's say that the heavy volumes were formed in here, and you need to see that the price was reacting to this place in the past. Let's say something like this, right? So this is telling you that this level in the past was a support, right? Because the price reacted to that level before, and then the price blew past that support in here, creating those heavy volumes. And when the price blew past that support, that means that the support turned into resistance. So this is what you need to see in the chart, and then you wait for a pullback, and if it occurs, then you go short from that resistance. And this is it. This is the bearish scenario. Now let me show you a couple of examples on the real chart. So in this example, there's a bearish scenario. You can notice that there's a strong downtrend here, and within the downtrend there's a significant heavy volume zone in here. Now here's an important thing. You need to use volume profile which is able to look into specific areas of the chart. I call it flexible volume profile. It's one of the profiles which I developed and which you can get from my website. It is important to use the flexible profile so you can look just into the trend area. If you, for example, used daily or weekly volume profiles, then they would also show you volumes you are not interested in, because you are interested only in the volumes that formed within the trend zone, right? So back to the example. Here is the trend with a significant volume zone, and here is the place where the price reacted to that level in the past. Now I like to place the level, as you can see on the blue line here, at the beginning of the heavy volume zone, right? So this is the beginning of that heavy volume zone. This is the resistance. And before that, before it became a resistance, it was a support, right? In here, the price made a strong reaction to this place. So it was a support in the past, then the price blew past the support, creating those heavy volumes, and then the level became a resistance. So as I was saying, I like to place the level at the beginning of the heavy volume zone, which is in here, and this is the resistance. You just wait for the pullback and go short from there. Alright, so this is the bearish scenario. Now let me show you the bullish scenario. In here, you have an uptrend, and you use the flexible volume profile over the uptrend. So you look into this specific area. As you can see, there are many volume clusters, but which one to pick? Which one to trade from? You want to trade from the volume cluster that has that confluence I was showing you, where the price was reacting to in the past. In here we have two reactions, which is even better than one. So we have two reactions, and that is telling us that this level was a resistance in the past, or somewhere around this level, this general area, right? And then it became a support. We have that heavy volume cluster here, somewhere around the place where there was that resistance, and then you just wait for a pullback. So you wait. It doesn't really matter if it's a couple of days. Markets have very good memory, so you just wait and then you go long from there. Now in this case we have a bearish scenario. There is a downtrend, and if you look with the volume profile into that downtrend zone, then in this case the volume cluster really stands out, and the level is the beginning of that volume cluster. And if you look in here, the price was reacting to that level in the past. In this case, those reactions, there were multiple of them, but the reactions weren't too strong. Now this setup is good to trade even if the support was sort of weaker, like this. It still becomes a resistance and it is still viable to trade, but I personally prefer seeing those reactions bigger, like in the previous examples, right? But this is still valid. I still take such trades. So again, when you see this, when you see the volume cluster, the price reacting here, then you draw the level, wait for the pullback, and go short from there. Now here is another example, a very nice bullish scenario. There's this uptrend zone. Notice that I only used the volume profile over this thin area of the chart, and this is the heavy volume zone formed within the uptrend. And if you look a bit to the left, you can see that this level or this zone worked as a resistance because the price made this strong reaction to it. So it was a resistance which later turned into a support. You wait for the pullback and go long from there, from the beginning of that volume cluster.